Have you ever said to yourself, I don't really know what I want in life? Yeah, me too, but here's the funny thing. Deep down, you do know. You just don't recognize it because your brain quietly talks you out of it. Let's unpack that because once you understand this, things start to click. We're going to go step by step. How to find your dream, how to move toward it, and how to keep going when things get tough. And we're going to use Dr. Stone as an example because honestly, Senku's way of building a whole civilization from scratch is a perfect metaphor for chasing your dream. Step 1. Articulate your dream clearly. Everything starts with a desire, like that little spark inside all of us that says, I want to do this, I want to build that, I want to live like this. The problem is the moment that desire pops up, most people kill it with what I call the realism filter. It goes like this. You get an idea. Maybe you want to start a business, travel, or make videos. Then instantly your brain says, be realistic. You don't have the time, money, or skills for that. Sound familiar? That's your filter of doubt, built from fear, insecurity, and social pressure. It's the voice that says, don't be ridiculous, just play it safe. So when people say, I don't know what I want, what they really mean is, I already ran every dream through that filter and nothing survived. And here's the wild part. You do this subconsciously. Your brain instantly scans your ideas, filters out everything that seems impossible, and then tells you, you don't know what you want. We were trained to think like that, to not stand out, to not fail, to not look foolish. But that filter suffocates your dreams before they can even breathe. Take Dr. Stone, for example. Senku's ambition is insane. Rebuild civilization and figure out the source of petrification. If he used the same realistic filter we use, he'd give up in 5 seconds. But Senku doesn't do that. He looks through what I call the filter of exhilaration. Every time he faces something crazy, he asks himself, how cool would it be if I could actually pull this off? That excitement and that curiosity is what keeps his dream alive. So if you're struggling to find your dream, stop filtering. Notice what excites you, even the small stuff. Those sparks of excitement are clues pointing toward your real desire. Step 2, one step at a time. Okay, so now you have a dream, and you can also articulate it clearly. You even wrote it down. But then the dream seems daunting, huge, like a giant mountain staring you down, and the thought hits you. How am I ever going to climb that? Here's the secret. You don't. Not all at once. You climb it one small step at a time. If you stare too long at the mountain, you'll freeze. So focus on the next rock in front of you. The small action you can take today. That's exactly what Senku does. He doesn't try to rebuild everything overnight. He starts with small goals, such as making fire, making soap, making glass. Each step builds on the last. Same goes for your dream. Break it down into the tiniest actions possible. And if one of those steps still feels too big, break it down even smaller. Because progress is progress, even if it's just 1 millimeter forward. This way of thinking keeps you in the present moment. Most people are trapped in the past, thinking about mistakes they made, or they're stuck in the future, worrying about what could go wrong. But the truth is, the only thing that changes your future is what you do right now. If you choose action, you get a result. Maybe small, maybe imperfect, but still, you'll get something. If you choose inaction, you get nothing. So take the step, no matter how small, and keep going. Step 3. Set goals. Now, everyone tells you to set goals, and that's great advice. But most people misunderstand what goals actually are. They treat goals like these rigid boxes. If I don't reach this exact number by this date, I failed. With this kind of attitude towards goal settings, you'll be putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. And that's not how goals work. Instead, goals are tools you use to provide you with direction. They help you move closer to your dream, and they're certainly not there to make you feel bad if you fall short. Think of goals like checkpoints in a game. If you don't clear a level right away, you don't throw your controller at the wall. Instead, you try again and come up with a better strategy. It's the same in real life. When you set goals, focus on the growth that happens along the way. Maybe you don't reach your target yet, but you learned, improved, and built momentum. For example, let's say you want to get fit. You go to the gym for a week and see no change in your body. That's totally fine. Your progress is happening under the surface. The results always show up after the effort, not before. So don't judge yourself by how fast you're growing. Judge yourself by whether you kept showing up. Step 4. Create a roadmap. Okay, it's time to get practical. If your goal is the destination, your roadmap is the path. In Dr. Stone, every time Senku plans a new invention, He creates a roadmap. A roadmap shows you every step you need to take to get to your desired goals. It's a plan that lays out what needs to happen, in what order, to move forward. But here's something important. Do not aim for perfection. Your roadmap doesn't need to be flawless or overly detailed. Life will change, problems will pop up, and you'll need to adjust. Think of it like using Google Maps. Sometimes there's traffic or a road gets closed and you have to reroute. That's okay. The important thing is you still know where you're heading. A roadmap helps you track progress and stay grounded, even when things get chaotic. Most people skip this step. They set a goal but never make a plan, and that's why they feel stuck. So take time to map it out, even roughly. It's what turns someday into, here's my next step. Step 5. Adapt to adversity. Here's the truth. No matter how good your plan is, it's going to fall apart at some point. And that's not a sign of failure, it's just how real life works. Most people, when things go wrong, they panic or just quit. They think, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But challenges are part of the journey. They're like mini bosses, there to test if you've learned enough to move forward. Senku's team constantly hits walls, missing materials, new enemies, unpredictable disasters, and every time they adapt. They never say, this is impossible. They say, okay, how are we going to overcome this challenge? That's what having a growth mindset looks like, believing that you can improve through effort, and with relentless progress, you'll eventually get your desired outcomes. Instead of saying, I failed, you say, I learned something. Let's try that again, because here's the thing, people who only care about outcomes quit fast. However, people who care about progress keep going, and that's why they end up winning in the long run. Step 6. Keep going. Persistence isn't glamorous, but you can't achieve anything meaningful without it. Let's be real. You can do all the right things. You can plan, prepare, work really hard, yet you still fail. That's normal. Failure isn't the end. It's just a feedback that tells you where you went wrong. The truth is, if you keep going, you will always have a chance. However, if you quit, you'll have no chance at achieving anything. In Dr. Stone, Senku's journey was full of setbacks that looked completely hopeless. Sometimes even the viewer's like, yeah, there's no way out of this one. And yet, they managed to find a way. Some say they're just lucky. I say they have a tenacity of a cockroach. They just won't stop trying. That's the power of persistence. Even if it takes years, even if you never see the final result yourself, your effort still matters. You might inspire someone else to keep the dream alive after you. So whatever your dream is, just keep going. Remember that slow progress is still progress. Step 7. Don't get distracted. Now there's one more trap to watch out for. Distractions. Sometimes they come from failure, but often they come from success. You finally start making progress. People notice you, praise you, and offer you new shiny things. And slowly, you lose focus. You start chasing fame instead of purpose. You start caring more about being seen than about creating something meaningful. That's how a lot of people lose themselves. They forget why they started and end up burned out, lost, and depressed. So here's a tip that might help you stay focused on your dream. Whenever you start feeling pulled in 100 directions, pause and ask yourself, does this still align with my original dream? If the answer is no, reshift your focus back on track. The goal isn't to impress others, it's to stay true to the vision that made you come alive in the first place.